Hello, everybody, this is RPG Boons. Welcome to the witching hour where supernatural things to happen and supernatural things tend to happen. Based on my previous last two recordings, clearly I am undead. So even if we don't experience supernatural things, at this moment, I am supernatural. You can see on the widget there that is indeed around the witching hour, or it is the witching hours. There are some arguments exactly what that is, and it's the point where the living and the dead are at their closest together in terms of dimensional space, I guess. Today, it's going to be probably a short one. I typically, again, don't expect people to be in chat this time period of the night. But I wanted to talk about experience points and how to level up your characters. Now, currently, there is basically two main methods, right? I've introduced one recently, but let's talk about the two main methods. One is you see that every monster in just about every game system you have has a certain number of experience points that they have. And then in addition, one thing they typically, most games don't do is show you like how many experience points do you get for accomplishing a skill check. But I think these are important. So you should obviously, to me, you should always give out experience points when you're doing skill checks as well. And so how do you give out those experience points from those monsters, from those skill checks? That's the first way of doing it. The second way is called milestone leveling. And that's essentially when you typically complete a story arc or some type of storyline, and the DM just decides, I'm going to give you a level, right? And the third method, which I introduced was epic leveling. I recommend you seeing that. That's when it's similar to milestone, except instead of just granting a level, you can give anywhere between 2, 3, 5 levels. It's really about progressing the story of your world, right? So as you guys know, I believe that the game master, the dungeon master, is a storyteller, and it's just who we are. We like to create worlds, we like to create backgrounds, we like to have conflict in our worlds. And if you're like me, you also like to create timelines. And these timelines are super critical for adding body to your world. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the next actual recorded video. I'm not exactly sure on the title, but I want to introduce, or at least talk about these small little places called hamlets. But I digress. Let's focus on XP. Now, when it comes to method one, and you're trying to decide how do I give out experience points, it is a little tedious because, like I said, you have to look at every monster, look at those experience points, and then essentially add up all the experience points of every single monster that's defeated. You kind of have to arbitrarily, in many cases, make up the amount of experience points for a skill check. I mean, something simple that you could do to calculate experience points for a skill check is just timesing the DC of any skill check by 10 or 100. It really depends on you because obviously the higher level the characters are, the harder it is to advance. So you might want to multiply by 100, maybe even 1,000 in some cases if you're hitting up those really high levels. But then once you do that, what do you do next? You've have this number of experience points that you got from monsters, from skill checks. Now what? Do you keep track of every individual character that killed this monster, killed that monster? So therefore you get this experience points because you killed 2 of these, and you get 3 because 3 monsters worth of experience points because you killed those. And you can see here right on the big screen, I believe in XPable, which is essentially you take that experience points, it's a pool of XP, and anytime monsters are defeated, anytime skill checks are accomplished, anything that you think is worthy of experience points, you add it to this pool. Now, the next part is up to you. I personally think you should just take that whole number and everybody gets that whole number. The other more stingy way of doing it is taking that whole number, cutting it up into pieces, splitting it in a group of 3, 4, whatever your party size is, and everybody gets, you know, pieces of that experience pool, experience points pool, which is a decent way of doing it. It's not a bad way, but I also just believe in character advancement, moving the plot forward, pushing your story forward, which is what epic leveling is all about. But if you like tracking experience points, the individual tasks, the individual monsters, XPable I think is the way to go. Don't necessarily focus on the players who did what, who killed what, but just take that XP and either A, split that XP pool amongst all the different PCs, or just give them all that whole bulk number. I was going to show you some examples of some of the systems and their XP system. You know, I was looking at here, Tales of the Valiant. They have a very basic level advancement here. They talk about milestone leveling, essentially. I was gonna show you Pathfinder, but it actually has my freaking order number and personal information on it, which kind of pisses me off. I'm not sure why they do that. These other PDFs don't have my information on them after I bought them, so I'm going to show you these other ones. Now, I was looking at Daggerheart. Very interestingly, I haven't found it yet. But when I was looking at the classes, I'm assuming they're going to have a similar XP advancement here that I'm showing you for Tales of the Valiant, where everybody just advances the same. And I believe, I'm pretty sure they have the exact same thing because I did an entire video on it. Again, I'm undead right now. It is the witching hour. Sometimes I forget things at this time of night. So here's Daggerheart, but it's not, oh man, this computer, not really moving forward. I do want to bring your attention to Basic Fantasy RPG. It is free to get online, and you can see it has up to 20 levels of character advancement. The experience points varies depending on the type of class that you are. It's free, but you can also buy like a $5 book off of Amazon if you want a hard copy, but it'll be a very small book. But it's free and it has a bunch of expansion material. But anyways, here we're looking at their levels of character advancements, the cleric, the fighter, and you can see in this case they're going up to millions. So this is one of those situations where I was telling you that XP pool would be nice to just hand it to the players. Everybody gets that bulk number, because clearly you can see to get to 1,000,000 XP, it's going to take a while. Let's look at Shadow Dark real quick. Now, Shadow Dark is, I don't know, some people might say the best because they simplify the XP, right? I believe is on the very first page of everything. And don't worry if I can't find it, I actually have it memorized. It's literally 10 XP to advance past first level, and then thereafter it says 20 XP, but it's actually, you go back down to 0 XP. So every time that you level, you drop down to 0, and then you have to hit the next level XP, which is typically, like I said, it's 10, 20. It's actually just by 10s all the way to level 10. So much easier to track, but at the same time, you're not getting all kinds of experience points when you're killing monsters. I thought it was in the very first few pages. I'm a loser. You're seeing it real time. I just saw something there. No, damn it. Okay, but trust me, I do also have a video looking at Shadow Dark and comparing it to D&D 5e, and I'm pretty confident. I talk about XP, and that one definitely shows 10, 10, 10. Well, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to 100 in terms of character advancement. Okay, and then let's go over to Draw Steel. Now, Draw Steel has a slightly different XP advancement. There's at some point some, God, what was it called just here a second ago? I was looking at it. This again is the problem with being up during the witching hour. It's a little rough sometimes. I am undead. This is undead Don Franco. But the bottom line is they have a similar XP advancement system. So the more XP you have, in this case, you save the XP and then you just look at the number of XP you have and compare that to the level. And that would tell you exactly what level you lie at, depending on the number of XP that you have. You can see here that in Draw Still, they do have two different types of XP, the XP for double speed or XP for half speed. Essentially, you know, slowing down your progression. Again, I'm not a big fan of this. If you saw my epic leveling video, you know that I think a lot of campaigns, a lot of groups, in my experience, just don't last forever. Unless one of your childhood best friends or your brothers, one of your people you play with all your life. I typically, in my experience as an adult, is these groups just dissipate eventually. Usually somebody's moving away. And there's typically sometimes a problem player, and that's the reason for you to just kind of quit having the campaign in general. But even in this situation here, again, you can just create an XP pool and everybody just gets the bulk sum. Or if you want to make it a little more difficult, again, split that apart. And don't be stingy with your levels, DMs. I'll be honest with you. When you have a good group, there's always typically a strong personality in your group. Just appreciate it while you have it, because groups do come and go. And so I say, just give out XP. Don't be stingy. Give that bulk XP pool of points. Give it to every single player. Don't divide it up and split it. Just give it to them. Let them advance a level or two. That's what I think. All right, well, it is the witching hour. I'm looking at my chat box. I never expect anybody to be on at this time. It is the witching hour. This is it. Don Franco 3. This is RPG Boon's witching hour, where I'm undead, where supernatural things happen. I did not see any ghosts today. I don't know if you did. No weird noises. I told you need to accumulate data. Previous video, I heard a voice. And that's it. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time. And get some rest if you can.